third area that we look at is effectiveness. And what does effectiveness mean? It means we're going down to a 1 in a million risk level to really be safer. It appears that it's safer because it's less than 1 in 10,000. However, what you've got to look is, well, who is going to be exposed to that risk level? So you've got to multiply those numbers by the expected number of people on the site, even if you do have residences on the site. We are using residential cleanup standards, which is conservative as compared to, for instance, a commercial or anything else. So you look at the number of expected people on the site. It's a 300-acre site. Some of these rugged mountains, maybe you have houses on 200 acres. 1 acre housing, maybe 4 people in each house, less than 1,000 people. Multiply 1,000 people by 10 to the minus 4. You don't have any expected cancers, even at the 10 to the minus 4 level. Now, we have shown with our past remediation, by measuring the soil concentrations, that we can achieve certainly less than 10 to the minus 5, and in many cases all the way down to 10 to the minus 6. So we have shown that.
I'm going to cut it off there and reiterate this meeting is for public comment.
Okay.
So
I'm just responding to the
I understand that you're responding to questions from Liz, but we're going to go back to the comments of either yours or Dan's, whoever's.
What point do we
I will pick it up. I will pick it up. Dan certainly has a right to clarify a couple of the issues that Phil brought up. But
Dan can make more comments for the record, and you can make more comments for the record.
I'm picking up where I left off, and I'll just refocus. That's fine.
Comments for the record. Yesterday, Phil Rutherford made statements to the State Senate Committee on Environmental Quality, in which he has alleged that a study by the University of Michigan had concluded that there were no increased cancers in the community. The chairman of that committee had to read a letter by the author of that study saying that that statement by Mr. Rutherford was false, that in fact the study had found increased cancers associated with proximity to the site. Today, on the record, the court transcriber, Phil has once again made false statements. He said the EPA rule required you to use the most reasonably foreseeable land use. False. False. Like what you said yesterday that the chairman had to call you on. EPA rules say you need to look at any land use that is reasonably foreseeable. And if there are several that are foreseeable, you need to use the one that produces the greatest dose and the greatest cleanup. Your statement, again, Phil, is false. Current zoning is RA5. The land use around the periphery by your own documents is in part agriculture. It is a reasonably foreseeable land use. Under EPA rules, you must use it if it produces the highest dose, which it does. Second point, here's the bait and switch. Phil just told you that they have no intention of farming and that they will impose land use restrictions. That's not an ECA that you're supposed to talk about today. The ECA says that the land use will be unrestricted. So you're not even permitted to see what he claims will be the land use restriction. I showed you the photographs. There is no restriction presently. They've got cattle going into the contaminated sodium burn pit area. So, and that was while it was contaminated, before they did any cleanup. So here's bait and switch. They're asking you to comment on unrestricted use, and they're going to come back and tell you that they're going to put in some undescribed land use restriction and dismiss all the comments. And it simply is inappropriate. It's the game we've been faced all along. At any rate, I just want to remind folks, this is really the time for the public to comment for the record. Once that's done, I think there should be questions, but what we just went through was Boeing commenting for the record, and I think that's not really right.
Have all criteria been met under survey? Phil? Anybody?
There's not. They're not going to answer unless Thomas wants to.
You know,
It's the comment.
I actually thought I was coming up here to ask questions. I tried asking questions earlier, and I was told
You can
I
ask
can ask
them.
them here.
Could I just make a suggestion? Can we do the public comment first, which is, there's a
Sure.
legal requirement, they have to get a
Right,
record,
okay.
because if there's a suit, you need to have a record. So can we get the comments?
I'll go
All
down,
those
I'll go
questions-
down the list.
All those questions you can rephrase as comments. If
Certainly.
you want
Let me
them,
go
they'll
down,
be
I'll
addressed.
do my bullet points, and then I'll try and ask for some information. And when I ask for a piece of information, it's basically to get as full an explanation as I can for the
Understood.
points that are being brought up under my comments. Number one, certainly, provide an alternative other than nothing and our way, which is as we determine after public comments are closed.
You have
my
a
sig-
suggested alternative.
My suggested alternative is follow all 9 steps of certification of CERCLA, establish and initiate and complete a full environmental impact statement on ETEC, because it's completely the basis for all of the decisions that you make for the RMHF. There's horses up there, there's watering holes, there's no barriers for livestock movement across the area. You can go up there and see it today, now, anytime. So hopefully implementation will be achieved for that. I would also insist in the fullest sense that independent testing be done also. In addition to Rocketdyne, Rockwell International receiving the largest environmental fine in 1995 while Mr. Rutherford was working up there. I mean, no offense, Bill, but you were, up there at the time. Last August, Boeing was forced under citizen and pressured by DTSC to cough up 40 years of burn logs in one of their cleanups under DTSC's authority. So basically, as recently as last August, burn logs were revealed by Boeing that had been withheld from the DTSC, which were described all of the use that this burn pit under consideration had. So I would say again, these are not people who, I mean, no offense, but there you go. These are not people who can be trusted, okay? They withhold documents that are related to undergoing the processes and so forth. So the least that can be provided here to establish any kind of believability about this process is to get independent testing in there appointed by the elected officials and reliable state authorities. I would say that's basic, so that we can begin to trust the data that we do have. Millions and millions of dollars have been spent on, groundwater monitoring data and so forth that is completely bogus, and so I would say let's not go down that road anymore. This all comes under the framework of something that was initiated in February 2001, accelerated cleanups. In February, or I believe it was February 1st, 2001, Department of Energy initiated a plan by Bechtel Corporation called Accelerated Cleanups, making accelerated cleanups a reality. And the purpose for this project nationwide to handle all of the existing Department of Energy nuclear sites across the country, the purpose of it was to move from mortgage holding to closure. Now let's look at the dates. I hate to say that these things are political, but February 1st, 2001, we're about 10 days into the Bush administration. Bechtel writes this plan to say we can save decades of time and tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars in our cleanups. It's really easy. I actually purchased online a book, one of you guys' textbooks, Making Accelerated Cleanups a Reality is the website that I found mentioned under. One of the chapters is Strategies for Managing Public Process.